form of quadratic equations. We've already seen it a little bit, but today we're going to learn how to graph in standard form. So this is section 12.2. So standard form of a quadratic equation. We're used to seeing vertex form. Y equals a times x minus h quantity squared plus k, where we could easily graph because we know the vertex in this form. The vertex in this form is hk. So it'd be real easy. Go ahead, find the vertex. You know your jump. Bam, done. Okay? Standard form, unfortunately, is not that easy. This is in the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So far I haven't shown you anything that you didn't know already. Standard form is in the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Unfortunately, I have no clue what the vertex is of this quadratic. So there is a little bit of a process in finding the vertex when you're given standard form. And here's the process, and you need to write this little formula down because you're going to use it a lot. To find the vertex of standard form, your x-coordinate is going to be negative b over 2a. And then your y-coordinate is whatever we get when we plug negative b over 2a back into our equation. And I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so here is the formula. X is going to be negative b over 2a. This is very important when you are given standard form. That helps us find, one, our axis of symmetry, which is also the same thing as the x-coordinate of our vertex. Okay, so now we're going to practice it with an actual example. Okay, so we already went through all of this. Okay, what is the graph of y equals x squared minus 6x plus 4? Okay, so we know y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That is standard form. In this example, what is a? A is the number in front of x squared, so 1, because I just see a 1 right here. B is the number in front of x, so in this case is negative 6. And C is 4. A and B are going to help me find my x-coordinate of my vertex because remember from last slide, x equals negative b over 2a. And then C is always my y-intercept. That is just something you need to memorize. Alright, so let's go ahead and start working here to find the vertex of this quadratic. If x is negative b over 2a, and I know that b is negative 6, then x equals, the opposite of b is another way you can look at that. So the opposite of b, in this case b is negative 6, so I'm going to put a positive 6 in there. And then all over 2 times a is 1. So 6 over 2 times 1 is 2. So 6 divided by 2, 3. So my vertex is 3, and then I have no clue what my y-coordinate is yet. So all of that was just to find your x-coordinate. To find my y-coordinate, I'm going to plug my x-coordinate back into my equation to see what I get for my output, and my output would be my y-coordinate. Okay, so go back to your original. Y equals x squared. Well, I know x is 3 now. Minus 6 times x, which I know is 3, plus 4. So y equals 9 minus 18 plus 4. Y equals negative 5. That is the y-coordinate of my vertex. So that was a lot of work. If you remember me saying vertex form is so much easier to graph from. Standard form is a little bit of a pain in the butt when you have to find it. So 3, negative 5, That's my vertex. The good thing is, whether it's standard form or vertex form, your A value still affects your jumps in the same way. So if my A value is 1, then I know I go over 1, up 1, over 1, up 3, because remember 1, 3, 5 are the jumps, over 1, up 5. And then I can reflect these points across my axis of symmetry. And that is plenty of points. And then one thing I want you to notice is right here. When I said your C value of your standard form equation is your y-intercept, see if that's true. Look at your graph. Your graph will cross at y equals 4, and that is exactly what the C value is. So that's just another thing that the standard form can communicate to you. All right, we're going to do one more, and then that's it. What is the graph of y equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 2? So A is negative 1, B is 4, and C is negative 2. The x-coordinate of my vertex is negative B over 2A. So the, So the opposite of B is negative 4. All over 2 times A is negative 1. So this ends up being negative 4 divided by negative 2 is a positive 2. So my x-coordinate is 2, which means I know my axis of symmetry is going to be right here through x equals 2. Okay, now I need to find my y-coordinate, so I'm going to plug 2 back into everywhere I see an x in my original equation. Notice I'm not putting the negative in the parentheses because x is just 2, not negative 2. Okay, plus 4 times 2 minus 2. So y equals the opposite of 2 squared. So this ends up being a negative 4, not a positive 4. Plus 8 minus 2. So y equals 2. My vertex is 2, 2. I'm going to go over here, find 2, 2, put a point. And then if you look at your jumps, my A value is 1, so my jumps are going to be normal. However, there's a negative, which means it's flipped. So when I go over 1, instead of going up 1, I'm going to go over 1, down 1. Over 1, down 3. And then you can reflect your points. And notice, where's my y-intercept? Whoops. It's at negative 2. That is your C value in your standard form. So this is how you graph from standard form when you are graphing by hand.